Right, so a few of you have asked me to uh, do a review of how to take your image from your design and take it into Photoshop, make it black and white, and then transfer it into Illustrator and do image trace. So that way you can move forward with doing the overprint design. So first of all, you need to open up Photoshop and create a new document. We're going to set it at 10 by 8 inches. If you need to do portrait, you can go ahead and click here and it'll switch it. This particular image is landscape. So I'm going to do it at 300. I'm going to make sure that's pixels per inch, and I'm already set in inches. Once I'm ready there, I'm going to hit create. I have my image on my desktop here, so I'm just going to grab it and drop it right in. Now, as I size this, I need to hold shift here on my image. That way it scales it proportionally. If I don't hold shift, I'm able to distort my image, and I don't want to do that. Sometimes your version may be the opposite of mine. You do not want to distort your image, though. Go ahead and resize this, and once I get it set where I want it to be, I can go ahead and click return to get rid of that X, and I'm all set to edit. So first thing is we need to make it black and white. So I'm going to come over here to my adjustments layer. If you do not see your adjustments, it should be over here on your right. Otherwise, you can always come up here and click Reset Essentials from this little box right here. So I have my adjustments and my layer panel here available to me. Within the adjustments, I'm going to use this hue saturation. I'm going to open up the properties menu. I'm going to drop down the saturation so that way it's black and white. Next, I'm going to open up the brightness and contrast so that way it's the next layer up. But I'm not going to do anything with this layer at the moment. Next thing I'm going to do is posterize. So I'm going to click on here. It's going to put 4 levels here. I want to make sure that it's 2, even though here it gives you 3. It gives you black, a gray, and white. So I've got 2 levels here. I'm going to come back to my brightness and contrast and double click. Your image here, you can consider the gray area is going to be read by Illustrator. When you do the image trace, it's going to turn into black. So you want to adjust your image in that sense that it's going to ultimately be black and white. So after I double click here on this, I'm going to get my properties menu back here on my brightness and contrast layer. I can click on the sun icon here, and now I can go ahead and adjust my contrast or adjust my brightness here. So again, thinking about what is going to be, basically every gray and black is going to be read as black. So I'm going to adjust my image to here. Once I've done that, I am all set to, or however you like your image to appear, I'm all set to export my image or save as. So I'm going to go ahead and save as, and I'm going to export this basically as a JPEG. I'm going to put it on my desktop. I'm just going to title this demo. So I have demo JPEG. You can also edit this image. You could go in and paint. You just want to make sure it's white or black. So if I wanted to clean up like this area back here, I could easily come in with the paintbrush and clean some areas up. You can also do some of that editing in Illustrator as well. So once I've done that, I'm all set to open up Illustrator. I'm going to compare file, new, and again, I'm going to make an artboard that is 8 by 10. So I've got 10 by 8, so I'm in landscape. I just have one artboard because that's all I'm dealing with. I'm in CMYK. So I'm going to go ahead and hit create. Once I have this open, I'm going to go ahead and grab my image here and just drop it right into my demo image. I'm going to drop it right in here. Open this image. Since it's the same size here, there's no need for me to adjust. Now, you guys may need to set yours. I have mine at Essentials for my workspace. You can go to Essentials Classic to see exactly what I'm doing here. You can also hit Reset Essentials after you've done that to make sure that you have your panel set up this way. Ultimately, when I have my image selected here, I can embed it up here. So I'm going to embed it so that way this image file is with the Illustrator file. And we are ready to set and move forward. Do not use this image trace button. In order to image trace, you want to come to Window. You're going to scroll down. You're going to find Image Trace down here. You're going to get another Properties menu. And the first thing you're going to want to do is open up Advanced Features here. Scroll down and click Ignore Whites. That way we get rid of all the white shapes that are here. After you've done that, you can click Preview. It's going to go ahead and calculate, and then it's going to give you an image traced image. So now all your gray image has turned into black. You can adjust the image further here. You can reduce corners, which means it'll be less sharp edges on it. You can reduce paths, so that way it would be smoother contour lines because there'd be more less anchor points. You can also reduce noise. So you can mess with these settings to get the particular look that you're going for in this image. And then you are all set to uh, expand your image. So I had no need for me to hit trace because anytime I make these adjustments and it calculates, it's already done the image trace. But the next important step here is make sure I have my image selected. I'm going to come to Object. I'm going to scroll down to Expand, then hit OK. And now you'll see I've got a highlight of blue all around my image here. So if I hit Command Y or Control Y, if you're on PC, you should see an image here where you can edit. So you can see these vector drawings here. So a few things that you can do to clean up your image in this sense here is that, like, if I wanted to regain some of this white space here, I can use my eraser tool. So Shift E is the shortcut for that. And I can use my brackets to adjust the size here, but I can come in and I can go ahead and kind of erase any of these areas here if I wanted to clean that up. Get something like that. Also, if I didn't like some of the noise that was happening up here, like if I want to get rid of these white dots, it can be kind of difficult because when I select this, if I've got my direct selection tool, I can select a dot completely and kind of remove it. But if I wanted to remove, let's see here. If I wanted to, so I can also remove areas by like using that Command Y, and I can click and drag and like highlight and select a bunch of different areas here and delete them. So that's a little bit more efficient if you wanted to get rid of some chatter in that sense. If I wanted to expand any of these black shapes, that's where I can come in and find like anchor points. I can actually grab them and manipulate them and move them around. If you wanted to draw any in there using your pen tool, you could. You could also come in with your pen tool and delete anchor points as well if you wanted to remove or smooth out areas if they're too jagged for you. But most of this editing was in the instance that we were going to go into vinyl with this particular design. But we are no longer doing that, so this step really isn't necessary for the most part. So once you have your image like black and white like this, and you have it looking the way that you want, and again, that you can hit Command Y or Control Y and see all the vector paths here, you are all set to go for the next step. I also have those demo videos posted on Moodle in terms of links on how to do the overprint technique. That would be the next step on adding color and giving the overall impression that you are doing a screen print.